Flogcast may occasionally contain explicit content that makes it not safe for work or for minors. It also doesn't provide an excuse to use the same words on Bay 13. Normal big footy rules still apply. So this is the Flogcast for round 4. Starburns joined by Penal.
Hello.
Teach.
Hi there.
Ant.
You sounded a bit surprised there, Penal. Like, hello, am I supposed to be here?
Yeah, he doesn't usually turn up after a loss, so this is new territory. And just to rub that in a little bit further, we've got Marto.
G'day, Flogs.
And also joining us after Melbourne gotten off to 2-2 for the first time in probably a long time, we've got YouDontKnowJack.
64.
Is that the last time?
Oh.
Is that really?
Don't know.
It can't be. My God.
Probably.
I'm 2 from 2 for turning up after losses this year, so I'm trying to turn my reputation around as a front-running supporter.
Good, because you're getting your head kicked in.
You had enough goo last year, now you're back for the tears, eh?
Oh, no, I mean, that comeback on the weekend, that just made me more confident in our ability to three-peat. I mean, the goo will still be flowing tonight.
Let's just go straight into that, because that was probably the match of the round. The comeback made it close, and it was pretty high standard from Port early on. Hawthorn put on a good comeback, and there was a lot of extra discussion. But Marto, tell us about that.
Well, very pleased to have taken care of the Goose squad this weekend. They were up and about, puffing about on the bay during the week. And yeah, it was a really good match. And that first quarter was quite stunning. It reminded me of Richmond, the elimination final last year. Off to a flyer, goals coming everywhere.
I was going to say, when you first said it reminded you of Richmond, what, 1980?
Were Hawthorn kicking into the wind in first?
Now, see, they didn't even have an excuse.
No, there's no excuses. I don't even know who won the coin toss, so...
Koshi won the coin toss.
I'd say Brian Lake going down 5 minutes into the game is a pretty fucking good excuse. That's the definition of a moral win.
Oh, well, that means we beat the Hawks last week, did we, Penal, since we lost Wallace and Morris in the first quarter?
Yeah, but they're shit. Yeah, Brian Lake's the best fullback in the comp.
Roby said that if they hadn't got injured, Bulldogs would have rolled Hawthorn last week. And if Roby says it...
Oh, there you go. Roby power wankings.
Yeah, okay, sorry. You've convinced me. If Roby said it, it's true.
I mean, he's the Gook king.
So, Marto, you were so good in the first half, and then you just fell asleep after that?
No, we were fine. We always had it under control.
Oh, you reckon?
Hawthorn just scored a few junk time goals. And
come on, they're not the Eddie Betts team. Come on.
Yes, and that is interesting that you say junk time, because we've been hearing from Hawthorn supporters all off-season how in that prelim final they took the foot off the gas, and that was the only reason Port got close. And now the opposite's happened, and not a peep out of the Hawthorn supporters all about how good the comeback was, eh? Penal? All this goo about, oh, we could do anything, but really, it was just like Port's comeback, wasn't it? Either they're both legit or neither are.
Yeah,
right?
they're both legit, I have to say, because Port, I was definitely, I don't know about any of the other Hawthorn supporters, but I was shitting my pants in the prelim last year. I thought Port had it when they got within a goal. I thought.
Did you go down to Arden Street, Penal?
No, but you know, I went once Port got within a goal last year, and I thought they would reel it in and probably win the match. And you know, if they're definitely both legit comebacks. So.
And also, you make the excuse about Brian Lake, but let's not forget that Port were without Ollie Wines.
Yeah, but in-game injuries are so much harder to account for than sort of injuries sustained the previous match, because, I mean, they would have been planning the whole week for how they're going to set up their midfield without Ollie Wines. Brian Lake goes down 5 minutes into a game. We have to restructure our defence on the fly, so I don't buy that.
I hear you. I mean, it's like the Bulldogs-Hawthorn game. We lost 2 players before we even started the game and 2 players within the first 10 minutes. chance.
Yeah, okay, so and we'll give you the Bulldogs game, but obviously we get the Port game and the Essendon game in which we lost Frawley. So you guys are 4-0, and we're 3-1. The Pufferfish
Hang
are
on,
1-3. Essendon are 1-3.
Fucking listen to all this moral
God,
bullshit.
Hang on,
we're a
I'm
bunch
just-
of buggers here, man. But Frawley doesn't count. He's shit.
I've got the phone
Not
here.
gonna
I'm
argue with that.
just calling. I'm calling Gillen, just letting him know that we're resetting the ladder according to the new structure that you guys have come up. So just give me a minute. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay, we're undefeated.
Whilst he's gone, do we have anything else about Port and Hawthorn, the game itself?
I like the run that Port have a very exciting brand of football. They run with it, and it's good to watch.
It is great to watch, yeah. Except when you're on the other end of
Give
it.
me fast attacking football any day over, boring shit that some teams.
Like the other game that was going on at the same time.
Yeah, but once Port got sort of 50 points out in front, they just parked the bus. I mean, that was a Jose Mourinho masterclass in the second half from Port. They just put 22 players in the back line, 18 players in the back line, and sort of didn't let Hawthorn
He's accusing
score.
him of cheating now.
No,
Listen to that. 22 players in the back line.
I obviously misspoke. I mean, they were obviously using negative tactics in the second half to try and prevent Hawthorn from using their immense scoring power to do the comeback.
Jesus Christ.
So why did they stop? Why couldn't they just kept going?
Got a bit tired, I guess.
Obviously, they were threatened, and it's easier on the legs to play negative football than it is to play positive footy.
Did Clarko threaten to belt them on?
Yeah, maybe that was it. Did he put another hole in the coach's box before he went and bashed someone else?
Apparently, Wingard went, "Go power!"
We'll move on to that then. So, Marto, how's your chin?
How's my chin?
Yeah.
Got a bit of a whack off
Yeah,
Clarko.
Yeah, I'll be right for training at Hackham this week.
You should be asking Teach how his chin is, because apparently someone tracked the guy down on Facebook, and it's a Geelong supporter.
That's actually true. Like, can you think about it? If there's going to be anyone else other than, say, the Port supporter to be riling up Clarko, the money's on it. It's probably a Cats fan.
See, it could be Soggy, I think.
Did you see the guy who
Teach,
was
where
winding
were
him
you
up?
on Saturday night?
He's too young to be teached by about half his age.
He was the
Teach
guy was
Junior.
the guy was 2 feet taller than Clarkson. So in Clarkson's defence, I don't
Everyone's 2 foot taller than Clark.
I don't reckon he could have
Clarky
reached
looks
his
up to
chin.
him.
It's just such a beat up. I mean, drunk idiots get in your face, they deserve a punch in the head.
Well, at first I was in Clarko's defence and I thought the guy deserved it, but when I heard it was a Geelong supporter, I really felt sorry for the guy, because, I mean, he had been through enough watching his poor team get belted by the Hawks in round one. He didn't need to go and get belted himself by one of the Hawks coaching staff, so I really felt for the guy.
Oh, well, okay, let's suspend Clarkson then. Let's do
Well,
it.
if it wasn't Marto, Belton, Clarko, were you at Arden Street any time this week, Marto?
Yeah, the Port supporters been busy this week. For those who don't know, North turned up after Port rolled them. Some Port supporters got caught on security footage taking a dump in the North Melbourne goal square at Arden Street. Apparently North weren't happy.
Yeah, they've got Petrie at full forward.
Hey,
They're used to having shit down there.
It's a bit of a way to go. I mean, you've got to have a fair bit of intent if you're going to leave Etihad Stadium and get to Arden Street. It's not a short walk, but so they must have been holding on to it, and then
They could have
They
took
managed
the
to get
train,
over-
man, just like you teach.
they had a real intent to go and shit on Arden Street. You've got to admire their dedication, I guess.
So, Marto, why'd you shit on North? See, I thought you'd be too happy about the Crows losing, but no, you had to go down Arden Street and do a shit, didn't you?
Take a massive dump down there.
That was the icing on the cake of that weekend.
What did you wipe your ass with? The grass is pretty short down there.
They haven't got any toilet paper down North Way.
The shower curtain.
You would have been dragging your ass along the ground like a dog with an itchy arsehole.
How else do you think they marked the ground down at Arden Street? Paint's too expensive, man.
Well,
Well, I haven't found out where Amstaff was on Sunday yet, so
Oh, he would have been there for sure.
He
would
would
have
have
been-
he would have totally filled up the Arden Street if he did it, though, man.
But let's just put it this way. Someone's taking a shit at Arden Street. What are the odds they post on Big Footy?
Ooh, that's
Probably
got-
80%.
Yeah, and on
Gotta
the
be
day, probably most likely.
I
So,
reckon the Geelong supporter is on Big Footy as well, man.
yeah, let's put a call out. Well, we want to hear from particularly that flog. We want to know who that is. Otherwise, we're going to start speculating. Maybe it's Dan's mystery ranger.
Well, if it was Dan's Ranger, then if he had the squirts, it'd be all pink, wouldn't it?
Speaking of Dan's mystery Ranger, and I guess this ties into Clarko a little bit as well, but did anyone happen to catch footage of the Ranger going after Chris Judd today in Lygon Street?
What? Yeah. What a fucking psycho.
Now,
Essendon flog, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which crazy Essendon supporter is it? It can't be Fog Dog because he wasn't fat enough.
Aaron.
It can't be Aaron because he wasn't rapey enough.
Couldn't have been Aaron because he wasn't wielding a used butt plug.
It was Bombers.
It wasn't Bombers.
He wasn't convicted enough.
Did he have a bad hit?
Didn't look like Bombers.
Maybe it was Zaka.
I'm thinking it was Red Sash.
Yeah, it could be Red Sash, yeah.
Either way, he looked like he drunk some dodgy Kool-Aid by the way he was talking. Apparently through a chair.
There was
Clearly Starburns.
There was a good suggestion on Talking Footy tonight that you get two fuckwits, they team up and they go, righto, you film it and I'll go and make trouble and you film it all and we don't know each other and then you go and sell it to a TV station.
Well, this guy looked like legit crazy.
Yeah, the
though.
other guy was...
Yeah, it probably could have been. Yeah.
Like, this is just like footage on a bus of someone losing their shit.
Right.
You know, it's a
Like
bit
drunk
different.
bogans on Brisbane buses racially using them.
Yes, correct. Just like that. And I think the person who filmed this was a bystander, whereas the Port one was clearly
It was set up.
staged. They were involved in trying to wind up Clarko, and they got the angry midget response.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Juddy held restraint. There was no chicken wing, no
Yep.
no eye.
No poking the eyes.
He did a
no.
runner. He didn't even finish his lunch. He just got out of there.
That's how soft Carlton are now that Judd's no longer sticking fingers in eyes. He's actually running away. This is Mark Murphy leadership right there.
But in all seriousness, he did what Clarko should have done and walked away.
Yeah,
he
you're
did.
right.
Clarko shouldn't have hit the guy. The guy probably deserved it. But Clarko was, a few metres from the hotel door, apparently.
I would have bashed the cunt.
Yeah, to be fair, if I was in that situation, I probably would have got it a bit swingy as well. But it's very easy to say, because he would have been in a filthy mood. But why the fuck didn't he take the team bus back? If you're going to walk back across past the
I
Oval,
don't know whether...
Someone pissed on the steering wheel, man.
he'll have to walk home then, he can't.
Someone pissed on the steering wheel.
But seriously though, walking through there after a loss, you're just guaranteed that some dickhead's going to come up to you and harass you. So
The mail I have was that he wanted to sort of walk home separate from the team so that he could kind of cool down and compose himself after
That
the
worked,
loss.
didn't it?
Well, it's better than him fucking getting melty at some random cunt than him fucking hitting one of his, players.
Oh, come on, he only hits AFL players when they're not looking.
Yeah, but it would have been easy to go up behind, say, Jordan Lewis on the bus and say, hey, Jordan, you were shit tonight, whack, and we would see on Thursday night, omissions out Jordan Lewis, whacked in the face by the coach, We didn't want that, so better some fucking random who probably, deserves it than, say, one of our gun players.
All right, I think that's probably a good note to move on from, apart from the fact that Port, well, despite the iffy start, are now 2-2, and this was the tough start of the season. If they win the showdown next week, they're 3-2, and reasonably puffy.
I remember you guys all writing them off the last vlogcast I was on.
Yes, we did. That was probably Teach.
I
No, man.
thought that they were going to come back. They're too good a side. They just had a bad start.
Just quickly on that, round of upsets, this was a terrible round for tipping, was it not?
Oh, I got 7. Stick it.
Yeah, doesn't that just sum it up?
You did not, you filthy liar, cheat. You're tipping me shit.
It says it all that the worst tipper on the vlogcast got 7.
It says it all that the worst round of the year for tipping, and Teach has his best round of the season. That's how far off you've been with all your
Oh,
tips.
yeah.
Somehow you managed
You
to get
just
it right
wait.
this round.
You just
flipped
wait. I just write a form line and then I work it out. You're all going to be just going to be eating my fucking dust in a month.
Form line.
You should make your own power rankings.
I was going to say, I'm channeling Robbie there. Is Robbie in your 5-man tipping comp?
No, because Roby always wins. He wins all the beans, man.
Fuck, he counts beans in asylum. 1, 2.
Let's move on to the Anzac Day game, and, well, it was really a coming out party for Bay 13's very own hero, Paul Seedsman.
What happened there?
Oh, just lost me goo.
I thought,
Okay, short.
so,
I'm feeling him
Jack,
for
were you
sure.
at Arden Street this week?
Come on, Jack. Give you a rundown of the game.
This is what happens when you get gooey, you got to back up.
Yeah.
Oh, just seeds me.
He was impressive. He gained about 800 metres when most of the Essendon players
Wait.
were playing like crap.
So
Do
he's
you
the
reckon that he
anti-Rockliff.
deserved the? Do you reckon he deserved?
It's the anti-Rockliff. Yes.
Do you reckon
Yeah.
he deserved the medal? Or
Of course he did.
Shit, yeah.
Elliot was pretty good.
Yes, he
thought.
did show up. Like, I thought Pendlebury and Frost were very good for Collingwood as well, but Seedsman
So,
probably 4 quarters.
is he like the next McGough?
No, because McGough was not a superstar.
Yeah, true.
Give it a Seedsman.
All right, this is the part where we say bye to Ant.
Impunity.
But But no, he was actually very good. Like, he's running off halfback and they didn't man him up. Like, that was the funniest thing. They pointed it out on the coverage that, like, I thought Collier had a bad game, just not getting enough of the ball on his own. They pointed it out the next day that Collier was actually his opponent. So not only did he hardly touch it, but he actually let his opponent run off him for 30 disposals and 800 metres.
14 entries.
Yeah, Essendon fucked around with the ball, playing dry weather football in the wet, which a lot of teams do.
Except for Grandpa Fletcher, he did it well. Did the old torpy from outside.
It wasn't a torpy, actually, it was a drop punt.
It was a drop punt, but it went a long way. It went about a good 60, 65 metres. Like, he just wound up.
So how can a man that old be able to get the hamstrings working that hard to kick it like that? Gee.
Oh, maybe it's a bit of yoga, you know?
The explanation is just unknown.
Yeah, it's wow. I mean, drugs. Sorry.
All the records sort of detailing how that happened have been lost, unfortunately.
Yeah, how they managed him, it's no one quite knows because they forgot to write it down.
Maybe he's heading down to a rub and tug a couple of times a week.
That's your answer to everything, isn't it?
Well, who are you, Mr. Aaron? Fucking hell.
Can you imagine if Mr. Aaron was in charge of conditioning at Essendon? It was all, go get a rub and tug, get a butt.
And, if she accepts tips, she likes you as a friend.
That's why Herd needed erection injections, because the rub and tugs weren't doing anything. Anyway, Essendon weren't very good and they overused the ball, but Collingwood were direct, they were alright. Despite the fact that Jesse White was shit and Clarko only gave him 2 goals, they still found enough avenues.
So I'm going to go all gay mainboard on you and say, where are Collingwood at?
Collingwood are probably right where they were last year, which is good for them considering that most people expected them to go backwards.
I reckon middle of the table.
I still reckon they're at where I suggested they're going to be. Kind of mediocre in the middle, kind of Richmond-ish.
I'm thinking they're not bottom 6, but they're not top 6. They're just in that middle 6.
Yeah, I would sort of say 7 to 10, because, I mean, there's a lot of teams that they're better than, but obviously they're not quite in that top echelon with teams like Hawthorn.
Well, actually, they're ahead of you on the ladder at 3 wins, 1 loss, while you're 2 and 2.
But they've
they beat Essendon.
They've played shit teams like St Kilda.
Did Hawthorn beat Essendon?
They've also had the opportunity to beat up on shit teams like St Kilda and Brisbane, whereas we've had to play really good teams like the Bulldogs, who would be undefeated if they hadn't run into us.
I got nothing.
You still couldn't beat Essendon in round 2 when they had less legs.
Yeah, but that was because Frawley got injured. We've already given the moral win to the Hawks on this one.
Frawley getting injured is the best thing's happened to Melbourne. He's such an overrated spot.
Anyway, do we have anything else on Collingwood Essendon?
Well, I mean, you mentioned Cloak and White having a bit of a stinker, but it wasn't really a day for key forwards. I mean, Jake Carlisle was beyond terrible.
Oh,
he missed one from about 10 metres out directly in front. Just capped off a miserable day for him, but it wasn't really a good day.
The best thing about Carlisle's weekend, he was tweeting about the Bulldogs win. He's coming our way.
You sound like a North supporter.
I'm going all David Swallow on you.
How about now?
Let's move on to the game that was at 4:40 on the Sunday.
Oh, hang on. Let's backtrack just a little bit here, Fifey. What about the Tigers and Melbourne?
Well, we're going to come to the Dogs game before that, but okay. Which one do we want to do first?
Well, I'd like to talk about Tigers and Melbourne. Wouldn't you? You don't know, Jack?
Yeah.
Fifey, did you go to the game?
Yes, and I sat amongst the Melbourne MCC contingent, and weren't they just a wonderful bunch?
So, how many of them knew the players'
Knowledgeable
names?
bunch too.
No.
Well, they knew who Jack Watts was enough to give him Bronx cheers, which was highly amusing. But other than that, it was mostly generic "Go Melbourne" and.
But they must have liked that big number 1 kid. I like the look of him.
Yeah, they knew who Heredia was. Actually, that's another one. But they called him Harry.
O'Brien.
Just to wind him up.
No, just in that vein, they can't call him Heredia. It's too exotic. He's Harry.
So first of all, Jack,
Heredia sounds like one of their cleaners or something, doesn't it?
give us who was your best player and who was your worst player, and we know who they are. So nail them on the head.
What do you think, Matrox?
The best player could be open to interpretation.
Hogan, Jones, Vandenberg.
Right, yeah.
And who was the worst one? Because he was the worst player on the ground.
Oh, do I have to say it?
Yes, you do. We want it. We want it.
Neville Jetta, wasn't it?
No, he went off at half-time with concussion. He was still better than Watts.
Watts, he kicked
What
a
about
goal,
Garland?
didn't he?
Yeah, because he fell over after taking a mark. Got a 50 metres for it because Dustin had a brain fart.
What about Garland? He played really well.
Oh, Jeffy was fucking awesome. Thanks, Carlton.
Another ex-Carlton forward kicking more goals than Carlton.
That's okay, they got Liam Jones.
What else we got on that game? Look, it was disappointing, and I mentioned Essendon playing dry weather football. You know, we were bad, but it was 2 points at half-time, and then after half-time, Melbourne played to the conditions, and Richmond really didn't, and it was Melbourne kicked it long and let it go over the back and let it skid on, and they ran onto it, and not enough teams do that in the AFL, and it was really frustrating when you're supposed to.
And you know the best thing about that loss is it's starting to click on the Richmond board, because they're posting after the Dogs game like, our list is so much better than theirs. I mean, we got Grigg, we got some other mediocre hack, I don't know. I mean, look,
who the fuck were you? Who says that Griggs are
oh, you read the fucking Richmond board. I mean, they were all wanking. They were all wanking over. You know, we didn't turn up, and a shit team like the Bulldogs won, and now they're like going, oh, and now Melbourne's beaten us. Maybe our list isn't that good.
We're going to win the premiership. We've got Sean Hampson.
But really, I mean, you understand Fife. You've got a couple of good players like Bent, Cockchin, and Dusty, and Rewalt, but you've got all these recycled hacks. They're going to get you nowhere.
I'm actually pretty happy with the shape of our list, to be honest, but I'm not happy with.
I wouldn't be.
I know I'm happy with the shape of the list. There are a few hacks that Hardwick picks because they're his favourites, and that shit's.
To be fair, most of Richmond's players are in better shape than, say, Tom Hawkins and the rest of Geelong's list.
Oh, get fucked, you idiot. Anyway, you got Right Said Fred up the back there in rants.
But no, he got cleaned out by Hogan first time all year. Apparently he hadn't lost a one-on-one, and Hogan won the very first one of the night. Hogan looks like a beast. He's everything Jack
He looks
Watson.
great.
No, he's a gun.
We said this last week, but
Apparently he wants to go back to Fremantle.
He's
or
the
something.
future. Fuck Jack.
no, like I'm generally not concerned with the list. Like the nucleus of it is good, but Cockchin plays like
But
a crab sometimes, and he lacks the leadership. And Hardwick either doesn't have a proper game plan or a plan B, or he doesn't have the personality to enforce it the same way that the Dogs run hard back and they play hard. For example, coming through, whereas Richmond, when it doesn't click, they all go to.
Well, if you've got a nucleus of a good list, then you need to start playing the kids because the hacks you're putting out there just aren't up to it.
Well, I absolutely agree with that. That's like Steve Morris shouldn't be playing games.
Shane Edwards was your best player on Friday night. What does that say about the rest of your list?
He had a good game. No, he's come a long way. He had a good game. Like he's absolutely best 22. I have no problems with the way he plays football. He reads it well off the pack and everything like that.
He's best 22 probably, but if he's your best sort of week in week out, then what does that say about the rest of your team?
Taylor Hunt hasn't played a good game since round one, for example.
But also your good players need to step up a bit. I mean, one Bontempelli possession is like 20 Bent Cockchin possessions.
Well, at the moment it is. Cockchin played direct against Brisbane and then against Melbourne and the Bulldogs, where they're not witches hats. He starts playing that sideways shit again. I don't know what.
Because he's got the talent.
He had the talent, and he started getting tags, and he started picking up soft possessions that didn't damage anyone. Very Rockliff-esque. Sometimes he's Paul Seedsman some weeks, and other weeks he's Tom Rockliff, and this week he was Tom.
Maybe
Rockliff.
He can only ski downhill.
Well, he didn't used to.
No, that's Deledio, man. He's the ultimate fucking downhill skier. I mean, come on.
No, what about Sean Higgins?
I reckon Higgins would go harder at the ball than Deledio.
And also, want to say that Jack Watts is a past now, and Hogan is the future.
Yeah, you got to send him straight back to the VFL.
Yeah, no, fuck him off. Bring in Big Gorn.
Big Maxi.
We need Big Maxi.
The beard just inspires fear. But one other thing we should mention is that after we appealed for it last week, we wondered where he was. The KFC boy made a reappearance. So someone out there is listening.
Oh, it was a night for capturing the freak circus. Dan did a really good pick where he caught KFC boy. He was trying to be there incognito in a hoodie, but he was captured, and there were a bunch of people around him who've become the new crowd of KFC boy. And Dan actually photoshopped in Aldi. And then there was that fat shit that got his shirt off. He had such a roof over the tool shed. He's enormous. And then there was that mad nana who was holding up a Rewalt jumper, number 8, screaming her guts out. And then there was Nacha Libre.
Come on, it's Nintho Tigre, man.
Nintho Tigre.
But yes, that did supply enough ammunition, hopefully, for that thread to take it through for a whole nother year. But yeah, do we want to quickly on the Basher Hooley thing?
So some unknown radio guy, what's his name?
Yeah.
John
Burns.
He's not
said.
fucking unknown. I listen to them every morning, you cunt.
Well,
Spot the old guy.
He's actually quite a nice guy. And I
Except
could
when he's
see,
a racist.
Well, he was clearly lying about saying it. I forgot. It's like James Hurd not remembering all kinds of shit in his...
yeah, I could see him with a glass of wine in his hand and then cracking a stupid joke, and he gets caught out. But all of a sudden he's like, I don't know what I said.
My first thought when I heard that prominent media figure was that it was Andrew Bolt.
But
This
Andrew
whole thing
Bolt's
has
a bit more
been-
smarter with his racism, isn't he?
I've got a theory, right?
Still get
I've
sued for
got
it.
a theory that this whole thing's been blown out of proportion because before Hooley joined the Richmond Tigers, he used to play for the Bombers, right? And so maybe he was just making a comment like Bombers and Hooley in the same sentence. You know, Hooley wasn't that good when he was at the Bombers, and maybe someone hearing him took it out of context and assumed that to be a racial profiling
That
thing.
sounds like Alistair Clarkson's defence.
No, it makes perfect sense because the word bomber sounds just like the word terrorist.
Yeah, no, but people naturally sort of equate those two words with each other. So maybe the guy
So Essendon
assumed he was...
terrorists.
I reckon-
Yes, they
I
are.
reckon
James
he-
Hurd is a terrorist, but maybe if someone
I reckon he did say it.
someone heard him call
No,
Hooley
you
a
listen to his
bomber.
reaction. If he said bomber, he'd own up to that. But he said it, and he knows it, and he brushed over it, and he's very lucky that people haven't gone harder at him, considering what happened with the girl with the goods.
Oh, it was
comment.
interesting that SBS commentator had a crack about the Anzacs, and he lost his job, and yet this guy can say something like this, and it's all brushed away.
It helps when you don't work for a government-funded media outlet.
Still,
Yeah, well, that's like,
Double
you
fucking
remember
standards, man.
you remember the Chaser? The Chaser went down to Melbourne Airport. They bought tickets to a
Yep.
flight, and they didn't turn up to the flight, and so they were calling them at the gate going,
paging Al
Could Mr.
Qaeda and Terry Wrist.
yes, Al Qaeda and Terry Wrist to get on the flight. So, I mean, I don't write too much. I don't think it's that overly offensive. If he did say it, he should say sorry.
Yeah,
At
but the
least.
thing is, not a good analogy there, Teach, because they were taking the piss out of a terrorist organisation, whereas you're still equating Muslim equal terrorists there, Teach. That's not necessarily true. I mean, you got the IRA. I mean, they're not Allah Akbars.
The apology he gave was very James Hurd taking full responsibility. But we will move on from all that to, well, the other main game from the weekend was, well, the Dogs are impressive. They're 3-1. They've given a reality check to the Crows, as Marto said, and, you know, it matters what you do in Melbourne, according to Phil Walsh, and the Crows got
Well,
smacked.
it does matter what you do in Melbourne because we now have footage of him tweaking his nipples. I mean, we wouldn't have known about that if he was in Adelaide.
I almost saw that coming. I hovered the mouse. I'm thinking, the Bulldogs, they can really fire it up, but I went, no, the Crows look better.
What I
And,
did like about that, being at the game, yeah, Ant did go to the game. The whole game, Thompson was just trying to snipe Bontempelli the whole game. He did bugger all, and just Bonte just destroyed him. Loved it. That's my bit of goof of the night. I should mention Stringer as well. What a fucking gun. 6 goals, 2, and he missed 2 sitters.
Stringer reminds me of Pavlich. He's a good size, and you could play him anywhere you wanted to, just about.
when are you going to get your money worth out of Boyd?
Yeah, but have you actually seen our games?
Yes, I have.
Boyd's has made our structure look so much better because one thing he does, which I wish Ace Cordy would do, is he crashes packs, he puts his arms up in the air and tries to mark the ball at the elevation. So if he's not catching the ball, he's knocking the ball down. Half of
So
Stringer's
$1.2 million, $1.2 million.
He's still on his rookie contract. So right now we're paying him fuck all to basically give us structure, knock the ball down to guys like
We're
Stringer.
still paying Ryan Griffin, though.
We're still paying 95% of our salary cap this year, so it's not a big deal. But he's given a structure, and when he's not marking the ball, he's actually bringing the ball to the ground. And our mid-sized forwards like Stringer and Kamari are actually cleaning up right now, and Dixon as well.
And the other thing about Cordy is that, yeah, you dropped Will Minson for Cordy, and you still won.
That was, I mean, we were trolling about it on the Bulldogs board. We had a running joke all week that Ace Cordy is now a new messiah. It's the Ace Apocalypse and all that type of stuff. Thinking, but we're secretly thinking, what the fuck is going on? But Beveridge is the man. Cordy kicked the first goal of the game, and it was all on from there.
But he didn't do a whole lot after that, did he?
He pretty much got smashed in the hit-outs, but he was better around the ground than Jacobs.
Marto, do you want to tell us anything about the Crows?
It was an embarrassing performance. They got smashed.
Just the glee in his
He
voice.
got smashed in contested possessions and tackles. Dangerfield flogged it up. He had an easy set shot on goal that he missed. Obviously, his mind was on the Geelong game that was going on, had been going on. Kyle Hardigan was laughable. I want to see him play on Ryder this week. Taylor Walker did fuck all. He's supposed to be a captain. Eddie Betts flogged it up, kicked 3 junk time goals.
Yeah, he was big in junk time.
He put the skis on and
Got a bit selfish in junk time too, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a
he
couple
was
of shots.
stepping over his shoulder all the time.
Canberra Crow front runners, they melted on their team board. It was fantastic.
The best thing was I got off the train, got home, and went, right, I'm going to troll on Bay 13, and Marto already had the thread going. Complete outsource.
I think I already had the thread up by the third quarter. Got myself.
Which was about the time the Bulldogs took the foot off the pedal too, because they had them on toast at 3/4 time, and junk time Eddie and the Crows managed to make the margin not look so shit.
We also missed a few shots on goal, easily gettable ones. Stringer missed a couple of sitters, and so did Jared Grant. So yeah,
dominated
Anyway.
Jared Grant as well.
Jared Grant took a specky and stuck his knee into, I think it was Talia's back. That was great. Little spindle shanks, all fucking 5 kilos of him knocks the guy down.
I mean, just going into this game, this was sort of the game, though, where you think, yeah, Adelaide will probably win on exposed form, but I could see the Dogs getting up in an upset by a couple of goals. But they absolutely came out and just demolished the Crows. So it was just the margin of the win that was sort of surprising for me. And I have to ask Marto, what result were you happier with, the Power getting up or the Crows losing? What gave you the most joy?
Why don't you just have both .jpg?
No, but if you had to pick one, if you have to pick, between a Power win and a Crows loss for this week, which would you have picked?
I'll probably have to go with I'd be happier with the Port win. I did have a bet on the line with Gaia, so he's I'll have his second avatar for 5 weeks when he finally completes the Essendon bet that he lost.
That guy's never going to get his avatar back this year.
He's no Waverley though, man.
Oh, now we haven't spoken about the Fremantle Sydney game. Do we need to talk about that?
No.
You had a
74 points? I don't think so.
You had a take on that, Ant?
Teach 2 words. Nat 5. Move on.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, and fuck off, Jose, if you're listening.
Yeah.
If Fife keeps this up, he'll be the next Bontempelli. That's all I'm going to say.
He's dominant.
Oh, he's going, isn't he?
The Collars were ordinary, and not much else to say. It was low scoring, and the Collars did the junk time thing, and Ross Lyon takes them to 4-0, and they might go to another runners-up grand final.
Hey.
Let's move on to, the bandwagon rolled through Geelong significantly. Like, they just steamrolled the concerning Cats.
How did Kanye Turner go?
No idea, but the cabbie basher had a good game, Dumont.
Just to encapsulate it in a very short minute, what was evident is that the Geelong midfield now, with everyone retiring, we've got a bunch of skinny kids in there. And
We've got a bunch of shit ones too.
We got a bunch of skinny
they're
kids
not
in our
that
midfield.
bad.
We've demolished Adelaide.
No.
Where's your excuse?
You're still picking Murdoch. You're still picking Reece Stanley. You're still picking
Billy
Well,
he
Smith.
actually played well.
Billy fucking
Actually-
Smith.
He
Smets is
actually
suspended
played
though,
well.
isn't he?
Yeah, but he was getting a game when he was eligible, so that's a problem.
Yes, that's true.
Well, I mean,
they've got a
both-
few others as well.
We both played an exact style of gameplay where trying to run it hard through the middle of the ground through handball, and our kids, because they're skinny, they were getting nailed by the bigger North Melbourne players and turning it over. And then when North Melbourne had it, they were just busting our tackles and moving through. And our delivery into the forward line was pretty shit. I thought that we would get beaten by 10 goals easy, but our effort was there. I've got to say.
Because Stevie J kicked some junk time goals coming on as a sub.
No, the game was still in the balance
No.
then. There's only like 3 or 4 points in it when he's kicking his goal. But it got busted open in the last 10 minutes when what North did, they played a massively defensive game where they set up a zone. We kicked shit to our forward line, and then they just ran it out and ran it through the middle of the goal, and they...
Got no pace.
Well, I mean, North are a good side. I mean, I expected them to win by a lot, but
Yeah, we know you think North are a good side. You've only been fucking saying they're going to win the flag for 18 months.
yeah, well, we'll see where we are in a month, okay? Can't.
So who are you going for, Teach?
Oh, I'm going for the Cats. I want to see an upset, But I never expected to win. We're bottom 3 this year. Easy.
Oh, you're not bottom 3. The bottom 3 is Richmond, Brisbane Lions, Carlton.
Gold Coast.
gonna
Gold
be
Coast can turn it around. They've got something those other 3 teams don't have, which is talent.
No, they won't like it when it gets cold, Gold Coast. So,
No,
Gold Coast, Brisbane, Geelong.
You were at the game, Teach?
No.
Yeah, who the fuck would go to Geelong?
It doesn't matter, because you would have heard it through the TV. How's that Bobcat sound every time Geelong
Oh,
gets
that
a goal?
fucking shits me. Because I used to hang shit. The first team that did that was Gold Coast. they used to play every time they kicked a goal. They
Their
went,
theme song.
da 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 da, and I went, what a fucking wank is that? I thought, I'll hang shit on them on Bay 13, and then some other team did it. I think the Lions did it, and then I'm like, oh, who are these wankers? We kick goals all the time. Next thing you know, there's this fucking bobcat coming out of Geelong. And I'm like, you fucking wankers. I can't stand it.
So did they play that bullshit after Hawkins kicked his goal? Because that just would have been completely inappropriate.
They did, yes, of course they did.
I just ruined the moment. You have this emotional moment and you have that bullshit going.
After he did his tribute to his mum and everyone came up and then gave him a cuddle and everyone's running back to the middle of the ground, then they played that. That's like, fucking stop that shit.
Your match day entertainment or whatever is as concerning as your youth.
Yeah, Marto might be able to fill us in from maybe if he's been to a showdown recently, but didn't Adelaide kick that off with like some sort of crow noise to try and get the 19th man revved up?
Yeah, they've got a squawk that Jose Mourinho would be proud of.
I reckon I saw that squawk at the game on Sunday. It was this middle-aged crow supporter. Oh man!
They also have the fake crowd effects coming over the speakers as well.
What?
Trying to
Serious?
get crowd
Next thing you're going to be telling us they have bay covers.
No, but they actually try to pass it off. Like you hear it on the TV, and it actually sounds like the crowd is getting excited, but it's actually crowd noise coming through the speakers.
I was going to say they're pretty quiet at Etihad on Sunday, mate.
Let's move on to the Giants Suns. Giants have officially gone past the Suns, I reckon.
Yes, widely regarded as true.
Well, the only good thing about that game was Cameron's attempt at the soccer style over the back of his head goal.
Oh yeah, he was
didn't
trying
see
to
that.
be Ronaldo,
That looked bloody good. But other than
It
that,
but he fucked it up.
we're running low.
Well, no, because we do have something out of that game, because on the North board, the infamous David Swallow to North thread's been bumped.
You're kidding.
No.
You have to link me to that. I'm lurk-liking that motherfucker.
And there are some gems in here. My favourite one so far is I'd give Gold Coast Turner for Swallow. Same output. And for those who don't know, that is Kanye. Kanye's as good as David Swallow.
They would give away Kanye for Swallow. You sure this is not a Gab Urquhart Pendlebury style post again?
No, because Kanye is apparently the second coming of Jesus, like the other Kanye.
Sure, it's not an alias.
No. This is a legit North poster, and they think David Swallow's coming back. That's just the gift that keeps on
Coming
giving.
back though, but he was never there.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
There's another one there who reckons they'd accept Black for him. Black in the first rounder.
Black in a first rounder. I'd take the first rounder. They could keep Black. He's the guy who got replaced by Jared Waite.
Yeah.
But do we have anything else on Gold Coast?
Maybe just Rodney Eade had a bit of talent in his team at the Bulldogs, or he's just in it for the paycheck, a la Malcolm Blight.
Oh yeah, I reckon he's past it. I reckon, yeah, like Malthouse. I reckon that you try and dig up these old coaches. Doesn't work.
Guy McKenna would be loving this, though. I mean, he's sitting there at home probably thinking, I took this fucking list within, like, one game of the finals, and that was with Gary Ablett missing half the season. He'd be just sort of sitting at home loving this and thinking,
or
he'd be a bit like Matthew Knight.
I was going to say, he can join the Matthew Knights fan club and be all bitter at not having a senior coach role.
We'll quickly cover the only two games we haven't discussed. Carlton actually got a win, and we're not even going to talk about it because, yeah.
I did like how it took the Bulldogs, I reckon, about 5 or 6 years to get Liam Jones to kick straight, and it took 4 games to him to be back to missing goals from straight in front. I love it.
The funniest part of this game was how Mark Murphy, and this is just how bad his season was up until this point, was actually offered tickets to the game by a promo girl because he's been in
that was
all year.
funny.
That's serious.
Yeah, that is serious. He was offered tickets by a promo girl to the game, and he's playing. He's actually the Carlton captain, but he's been MIA first 3 rounds, so you could be forgiven for forgetting it, or perhaps it's the Kiwis don't really know.
Then what happened? He pulled out his pink donut, and she went, "Oh, sorry, Mark."
He actually apparently had a good game. I didn't watch all of this, but Carlton got a win. St Kilda still haven't won a game in New Zealand.
Is that such a waste of time, though? I mean, the
They send
Kiwis
them all
really
the
give a
shit
shit.
games, and they still can't get a win.
But
I don't get it.
the Kiwis, all they care about is, rugby, basically, and occasionally cricket when their team plays half decent.
And sheep.
Well, that goes without saying. You wouldn't want to send Ben Brown down there.
It's probably eventually the only other place they can look to expand, so they're testing the waters, I guess.
Maybe to gather more interest in the Kiwi market, we should get Aaron to be the mascot at the next game and bring a few sheep out onto the ground and see what happens.
Actually, that makes sense, though, because wool's not flammable, so...
Anyway, the other game was West Coast skied all over Brisbane, as they...
I'm guessing
prone to
Kennedy
do.
must have done well then.
Probably. I actually didn't watch much of this game at all, but they beat them comfortably, and Aish appears to be tanking his trade value. Had another stinker, got subbed off, form reasons.
You mean a sheath?
Yeah, sheesh, yes.
And I think Tom Cutler's the new Rockliff.
Who's Tom Cutler?
Is he ineffective?
I don't know. Yeah,
Is he play for Brisbane?
yeah.
Oh, fuck, they got 2 of them.
So that's why Rockliff went shit.
Because he had another one, shit one draw it down.
Anyway, let's quickly go through the talking points, and we'll go for some short answers on some of these. Nick Maxwell, because of all the injuries, has thrown up the idea of a year-round trade period.
I like it.
As long as it's not trading from established teams.
I think that's what he's saying, yeah.
I mean, fair enough. Taken from the minor leagues like the third-rate SNFL or the second-rate VFL or the third
like what
tier
Essendon
waffle
tried
or
to
whatever.
do.
Yeah, but I don't know. Could you support a player you know is going to be playing for someone else next week?
No, not really. No.
I mean, I know you'd be cheering Greek playing back at Carlton or something, but
No, I agree. That
There would be some interesting troll aspects to that, yeah, but no, it does defeat the purpose of list building a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
imagine going to the game and going, we traded for Reece fucking Stanley.
You played fucking well, you prick.
What about the Gold Coast fans going 0-4 and fucking David Swallows fucked off to North, and they've got Aaron Black to cheer.
Yeah, if you could take him from another league, yeah.
Yeah, let's say for Carlton, let's say Liam Jones goes down with a serious injury. They've got absolutely no key forwards running around for them. So if they pick up a Mitch Brown or someone, I don't think he's with Essendon anymore because the top-up players seeing a Mitch Brown, the guy who was on Essendon as a top-up player from the VFL, or Mitch Thorpe or someone who's just kicking around otherwise in a second-tier league. There's nothing wrong with that.
So I don't mind recruiting from the lower leagues, other than that you're thinning their gene pool as well. I mean,
Yeah, that's true. And then what about your salary cap? I mean, how does that get affected?
I guess you take them all on rookie base payments.
but
if you
still,
draft
you'd
them.
have a salary cap though, so you'd have to have.
Oh yeah, but that'd all be on sweet fuck all, you know what I mean? They wouldn't hit your cap hard
But-
unless you took 5 of them.
I'm not a fan of the idea. I mean,
Yeah,
I reckon
not really.
good list management is an art form, so some teams do it better than
Agreed.
others. And no matter which way you spin it, Melbourne will find some way to fuck it up. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Or
You can't.
Carlton will.
Yeah, I mean,
They'll pick too many ruckmen and no key forwards. Or Brisbane, all midfielders.
All right, move on.
The other one, Paul Roos doesn't like the sub rule.
well,
Does anyone like the sub rule?
Well, actually, Luke
anyone like
Rich has mentioned it as well. He said he basically feels for the player who is the sub. It's a real stigma for the players. They don't really want to be the sub.
Yeah, well, we know what Goods thinks of it.
Yep.
Stevie J looked a bit sulky too.
Oh, and apparently Adam Cooney was a bit sooky when he was sub with us last year as well. But really, it's a stupid rule. I mean, there was no real evidence.
But he left for spongy turf, man.
Well,
Nothing else.
that and he got guaranteed 22 games. But
No, it's all spongy turf and Messiah.
yeah, and Kool-Aid on the knee.
But I think that we all agree that
It's a stupid rule.
none of us like it. We want it out.
I'm pretty
And
sure it will be
it's-
out pretty soon.
It's fucked
Like-
with team balance. It means the second ruck is not getting a game. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
Second ruck's not getting a game. You just need a Paddy Ryder. You just need to recruit properly. This is why you need a full season trade period.
But Paddy Ryder has sputtered it up a bit. He hasn't been that good, man.
He was alright this week.
All right this week.
He had his breakout game with Lobie there.
He had his breakout game against no fucking defence because they were all injured.
Oh, concerning.
Oh, boo!
Hey, guess what? This probably means Clangermakers is going to come in.
He will be in next week, yes. So it'll be Jared Waite versus Clanger Makers. It doesn't matter who wins the fucking game on Sunday. The Bay will win.
I was going to say it's
The
potentially the
debate-
best matchup ever.
Wait will kick 12 and simultaneously troll the Hawk fans and the North fans by delivering potential that he'll never offer up again.
Brett 33 is going to milk all over it as well.
Questions, and Anus Cat wants to know, is Jeremy Howe worth 650k? And we kind of brushed on this before.
Well,
No.
then again, if Hawthorn can spend that much money on Frawley, I don't know. You want a guy who can
Someone
jump
will-
and do fuck
but
all?
he's not at Melbourne, not anywhere.
Someone might be dumb enough to put the money up, but nah, I don't. Maybe around 400, but not 650.
But 400, I mean, Eddie Betts is on 500k. I mean, that's.
But yeah, I think as a forward he goes missing too often and then just not accountable as a defender. And
So
I think it's worth that.
Well, if he's
No.
going to get that much money, then Melbourne will get another decent pick out of it. So I think as a Melbourne supporter, you'd be laughing about that, mate.
Yeah, I'd love to get a high pick for him.
Alright, we'll move on to the next question. Where's Richmond at? This is from Teacher's Friend, Red Mist, and we'll try and have quick answers. And why do they have Mexican luchador supporters?
Because the Richmond Cheer Squad has always been a fucking circus. Where are they at? Oh, they can get better, but they always do this. They start off crap and then everyone goes, they're burning stuff down at Hunt Road, and then they go and win 9 in a row.
No, look at it. They're exactly where they're supposed to be. They're ninth again.
In a swell of teams at 2-2, which is actually it's a really interesting ladder so far. And admittedly, the draws skewed it a bit, but it's a really interesting ladder.
Ninth again.
Yeah, we're ninth.
Again.
That's where we're at. And does someone want to ask the last question?
What would Starburns rather talk about this week, Fremantle or Richmond?
Oh, that one's from Jose. Fuck off, Jose.
Fuck off, Jose.
Yeah.
Fuck off, Kevin.
All right, this week on the Bay, do we have a thread of the week?
I enjoyed the Ace Cordy thread by some Bulldog supporter. I can't remember his name.
Go you pups.
That's right.
Yeah.
I like the Magic Cards thread, which is like a regurgitation of the old Bay 13 cards game. But that's funny.
I like I don't always post pictures of James Hird, but when I do thread, I thought that was quite good from Footy Geek.
That was good, yes.
It's been a few quality threads this week.
So, do we have any more, or do we want to pick from those three?
Obviously, thread of the week would have to be Cameron Crowe's Can You Say Reality Check?
No, that was a good thread. I have to agree.
It wouldn't be a Marto appearance without him pumping up his own thread.
Yeah. You know what? You've convinced me. I'm going to vote for Cameron Crowe's reality check.
I'm voting Cameron Crowe's as well.
I'm still mad that my shower curtain thread didn't get a mention. What were you folks thinking? You
Well,
don't
we're
know
talking about the shower
quality when you
curtain,
see
it's
it.
not the thread. Is Flog of the Week unanimous?
Yeah, soggy.
We got a late entrant who's got his bat and ball and gone home.
He's got his $900 suit. He's packed it up and gone home.
Been nice knowing you, James.
Jay just chucked it in.
Jay just quit.
He's asked his count to be cancelled.
What a soft cock. I'll say it because no one else is.
Bay's going to be boring without him.
I know, Marto, you're a big fan of his, but I think no one else is going to miss him.
The terror squad will be devastated.
Burnt Chook's going to have to find some more Flogs.
Some more plebs to play around with.
Yeah.
I think if I had to vote every week, I'd probably vote for Brett33 to be Flog of the Week every week. His shopping skills are shit.
I think he does that on purpose. I think he does it on
melts in
purpose.
every thread he goes in. He is atrocious.
I know this guy can't be Flog of the Week because he doesn't post on the Bay. In fact, he's actually banned from the Bay for a very good reason. He's a team that a bloke who supports the fucking same team as I support. Procrastinator 35. I've fucking had it up to here with this guy because he makes all of us look like idiots.
You do that well enough yourself.
But I'm trolling, right? So this guy is a fucking idiot, and I've had to read his fucking shit all week on the Hawthorn board and on the main board. He's been calling for Clarkson to get fucking sacked because apparently Clarkson knows nothing and has a shit game plan. And this is like the guy who has single-handedly been one of the greatest ever servants of our club and has led us to 3 flags, and you're fucking calling for his head on a platter. Fuck off and go support someone else. You can't go and support Richmond with that attitude. I bet you're one of the fucking cunts who voted for us to merge with Melbourne. Fuck off. We don't want you as a supporter. Go fucking jump off the Westgate, you pleb.
Wow,
Meltdown.
that was an attack on Pearl Harbor right there.
Oh man, yeah.
Who do we want to give it to? Are we going to honour Penal's rant?
Oh fuck it. Procrastinator he was one of the types who just bored me into banning him because it was just inane bullshit.
It was all goo chugging. Just inane goo chugging.
And-
Not even funny like Sheps was.
And he was also white knighting Shep and Bosk, and he white knighted that when we trolled Bosk with the Flog of the Year, didn't we? Or
Post of the year,
Post
yeah.
of the year.
He was the one who melted the most. We never seen him before that.
yeah.
All right, shoot him in the head. Do it.
Shoot him in the head. We're not in East Geelong. Can't do that. Speaking of shooting in the head, we got the answer to where... Well, we don't know where he's been, but last week's poll was where is KFC boy, and 4.3% said he got beaten up by angry Carlton fans, 8.7% said hiding due to his internet fame, 17.4% said he hasn't been seen since he agreed to be Jack Watts' contested football coach, 26.1% said on a boat in East Geelong, and the winner with 43.5% was working import-export at Franco Cozzo's. Magale.
Brunswick Airfoot discovery.
I don't say that.
Let's go to next week, and it begins on Friday night with yet another Carlton Friday night game.
Gee, the AFL have really done well this year with their fixture.
Boring.
I keep
At
doing
least Carlton, they're playing Collingwood, and we expect Carlton to get rolled and Malthouse to, he chose Collingwood. He could have chosen any club he'd been at, and, St Kilda would have been the obvious one if he wanted to win on his record-breaking game, but he chose Collingwood to stick it up Eddie, and I think it's going to be a bad night from him. Mark Stevens will be in the press conference waiting.
This is one thing the rugby does better than us is they leave the Friday night game unscheduled.
Yeah.
And they pick which is going to be the match of the round and put it on Friday.
But they do it 6 weeks out, so this would be determined anyway.
Yeah, but 6 weeks
Yeah.
out, Carlton aren't going to get a shot.
Yep, Collingwood for me.
Collingwood.
Collingwood.
Collingwood by about 80 points. It won't even be close.
All right, you peeps, listen up. I've been on fire with the tips this season, so any of you listeners out there, you should be taking Marto's tips. Marto tips Collingwood.
5-man tipping comp there, Marto.
No, I think he's actually getting good numbers in, as opposed to just beating people who can't tip.
I'm
about Jack?
sitting 12th on the Bay Third tip footy tipping comp. I really should be higher, but doing all right. So,
Jack, what about Jack?
Yeah, season by 100.
The concerning Tigers and the concerning Cats.
It's going to be a shit game no matter what.
We haven't beaten them since 2006. They're concerning, but they will smell blood in the water, and I think they roll us.
I kind of agree. I think they're going to be hurting from last week, and they're going to quote Teach, kick you in the fucking head.
As bad as Richmond were last week, their exposed form is still better than Geelong, so Richmond will win. Because, I mean, the only team that Geelong have beaten are a fucking rabble that is Gold Coast.
We've beaten two Rebels as well, just quietly.
At least you beat fucking Carlton. And who else? Brisbane. Well, you thrashed
Your argument's
Brisbane.
dying.
You're grasping at straws and a reason to pick against Geelong.
You thrashed Brisbane, and that's better than anything Geelong have done this year. So I'm tipping Richmond based on that.
Marto underscore selects Richmond to win this week.
And he's the master tipper, unlike Jose. Fuck off, Jose.
Yeah, well, that's good enough for me, Richmond. I just want to see Clark sook up again.
Tigers.
Sure about that, are you?
Tigers.
not at all.
This is amazing. Neither of us are picking our own teams in this one. That's how bad life is at the moment.
It's going to be about another month or two before we win.
The next one could be a close game, and it's the Kohlers versus the Dogs. It's at the SCG, though. That's got me leaning towards the Kohlers, just.
I think Sydney are going to beat us.
But
So
this has upset potential.
The Dogs will win. They're morally undefeated. They're probably the best team in the comp at the moment. So Bontempelli and Stringer will lead them to a famous win.
Going to have to go for Sydney here, I'm afraid. Much as I want the Bulldogs to win, I think Sydney will.
it's the game of the contrasting styles. Bulldogs with the silk and flair, and Sydney with the shit.
Yeah, and the clamp down.
Sydney showed a couple of weeks ago how good they are at shutting running teams down. So you'll have to go with Sydney.
Oh, right. Port was a week ago.
Yeah,
Jack's last.
I reckon.
We do something Port can't. We win the contested ball as well, though.
Oops.
Oh, he choked it then. Good like that.
I accidentally lifted the keyboard. Yeah, go on.
He was mashing it. He was ready to mash it so hard after that.
It's going to report your tip.
Jack?
Yeah, I have to go Sydney at home.
Next one. Well, the concerning Queensland teams, one of them's going to get a win. Well, unless they draw. One of them's going to get a win. Gold Coast, Brisbane at Metricon in the Spudley Q clash.
Gold Coast.
Yeah,
They can't be
Suns,
like
yeah.
that.
Brisbane are bad and can't kick a score. The Suns will do enough.
I think the Suns.
I reckon Gold Coast will win the Q clash by about 10 points to 9. It'll be that sort of game.
Rugby score.
Who else hasn't tipped?
Marto hasn't tipped.
Yeah,
Marto
me.
selects Gold Coast to win over the Brisbane.
The third person tipster.
But
Okay.
it's a who cares cup.
Oh, me, yeah. Gonna have to go Brisbane. Tipping Brisbane for the upset.
Ooh, going out on a limb.
Ooh.
North versus Hawthorn in what could be a close game now that North have got a couple of wins on the board. Sorry, have North got a couple of wins or is this their first?
They're 2 and 2.
2 and 2, just like Hawthorn. And there'll be Waite versus Clanger Makers as we had discussed.
Hawthorn will still win.
Where's it been played?
Etihad.
Ooh, I'm going to go North.
The roof's going to be open, though.
I can't wait for bloody Matt Suckling to bowl over Kanye North and North supporters.
What number is Kanye, though?
Have you intentionally picked the softest player
Yes,
in our
I
team?
intentionally picked the softest player on your team. And then we'll see the truth. Hawthorn to take a dump on North, just like a Port fan at Arden Street.
Yeah, Penal is tipping Hawthorn will win this quite easily, and the might of Sean Makers will hold his potential goalless.
Fuck, I could do that.
Well, you should have played for Geelong this week.
I should have played.
Yeah, North.
Hawthorn will recover from from a laughing fit early in the game over North's sausage shower curtain banner and win.
And it's skid marks.
Yeah, but now we need Marto to tip in the third person.
Marto selects Hawthorn to win over North Melbourne.
Sounds like a fucking late night TV show. Marto selects.
Do my best work after midnight.
You need one of those.
The Bay 13 hot dogs or something.
You need one of those bands off to the side that goes. Doodly 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 doodly.
Yeah, thanks, Teach.
West Coast versus the Giants
Quick on this one. West Coast.
Ooh.
Giants are no longer a bottom 4, bottom 6 team. They're pushing for the 8, so West Coast won't ski on them, and the Giants will win.
This is in Perth, yeah?
Yes.
I'm going to have to go West Coast.
I pretty much agree 100% with what Starburns said. I think West Coast won't be able to beat GWS because GWS just don't look like a bottom 4 side this year.
How funny would that be? They win over there. Oh, the blue crowd.
Well, West Coast are yet to lose to an expansion team, I believe. They're still in the last team to lose club.
It's still the last team to lose club, right?
So this might be their last week.
Richmond were the first, weren't they? You were the give it up girl.
No, fucking Port were.
Oh, that's right.
We haven't lost to the Giants yet.
How many times you lost to Gold Coast?
Like 3 out of 4. But we're still not in the Coach Killers Hall of Fame. Maybe that'll be enough to get rid of Hardwick.
Well, initially I wanted to tip. I was going to tip West Coast, but I'm going to select the GWS Giants to beat the West Coast Eagles.
And what about Marto?
Marto selects GWS Giants.
You don't know Jack?
Ooh.
Take your time, mate.
Gonna go. All right, GWS, same reason. West Coast won't be able to downhill ski on them.
Melbourne versus Freo at the G. Look, Freo are imposing. Melbourne will give a better account of themselves, but Freo are Freo.
I still think, Melbourne will be competitive for a while, and Fremantle will blow them away significantly. The scoreline difference is going to be greater than the crowd.
Nah, the Melbourne supporters will be out for this one. They were out last week. There'll be even more of them now.
They'll roll out to see Hogan in
they'll
action.
come to see Hogan and Gia Watts.
What do you reckon, Jack? You a chance?
Oh, well, I want to pick Melbourne, but no, I think Freo.
I reckon it'll be pretty close, but Freo's sort of individual brilliance will just sort of get them over the end.
I went Nat Fife. There you go. Said it.
Cool.
Yeah. Who does Marto select?
Marto _ selects Fremantle to win this. Marto _ would also like to give a special shout out to that flog Doc Shark who created the thread Melbourne flogs, double or nothing, no welching. That's going to be one of the bravest threads I've ever seen.
So brave. Hashtag.
It's on, bitches. Any of you got the minimals for an avatar bet? We'll match the time frame 2-1. Well, I reckon the odds are about 10-1 in Fremantle's favour. So
Fuck, I hope he loses that.
That Doc Shark.
Yeah. He's a fuckwit.
Hashtag so brave.
All right, St Kilda versus Essendon. Well, does anyone give St Kilda a chance here? We'll just go through that.
Etihad?
No, they're both Etihad clubs, so yeah.
Yeah, nah, Essendon.
No, Essendon will flog them.
Yeah, Essendon by how much?
I want to tip St Kilda, but I don't think I can.
Just tip them for the moral win.
Everyone gets the moral win against Essendon anyway because Essendon are cheats. But I want to tip them for the real win, but I just don't think I can. So Essendon will probably win. Their chip fucking crab style of football will probably unfortunately get them to a win this week.
Marto says that yes, St Kilda are a chance, but no, they'll not win. Essendon will win.
All right, and the match of the round, which is the showdown, the 3-1 Crows after their reality check and their beatdown in Melbourne versus the ever-puffing pufferfish from Port. Port will win. They're in form and they're a good side.
I reckon Port will win.
Slow start, but they're building their momentum. Not in the first 10 weeks. They're going slowly into the season.
Yeah, I reckon Port will get over the top of them.
I've got my puffiest jacket. The puffiest jacket I could find. I'm wearing it at the moment. I'm selecting the away team.
And that'd be you guys. Yes.
Fuck, now I have to fucking look up who that is.
That's Port.
It is Port, alright. So, yeah, typical.
So you're going to have to put up with all those fuckwits with their different coloured hats.
I'm not fucking going to that match. Not last year. Well, I can't really get tickets anyway, but last year was one of the worst football experiences I've...
You're back in remand, are you, Marto?
I was surrounded by morons.
So it is a Crows home game, so they will be playing the squawk sound after every Crows
and
goal.
we'll be hearing about the 19th man and all that other bullshit.
You'll be hearing fake crowd effects as well.
Ant, have you called?
Yeah, come on. Port Adelaide by how much? Adelaide are complete pretenders, man. I just hope that they get out in front by that much that we see another nipple tweaking, because I think that really sets the standard for the Crows.
Jack?
Yeah, I think I'll go with Adelaide, but it's not in Melbourne, so they still won't get raided.
All right, this was the Flogcast for round 4. Starburns joined by Teach.
Goodbye.
Penal.
See ya, everybody.
What was that?
That wasn't me playing the music.
That was premature ejaculation, that was.
Yeah, you're having a bit of a spank there, Jack.
Ant.
See you later.
Marto.
See you, folks.
and You Don't Know Jack.
All right, later.
Who was fucking playing the music?
He was.
Jack.
Oh, that was my
It
ringtone.
was a Melbourne song.
Oh. I thought you were doing a Hadouken or something.
Do you get confused
Yeah,
sometimes with that ringtone? Like, what the fuck is that song?
Yeah, I've heard that somewhere.
I don't know what the Melbourne song is because I haven't heard it a lot over the past couple of years.